Well, welcome back to another legislative wrap-up video. My name's Matt Revel. I'm the Communications Director for the Senate Republican Caucus here in the state of Delaware. And today with me is Senator Gerald Hocker from the 20th District. Sir, how are you?
I'm great, and I hope everybody's doing fine. It would be better if I had passed my resolution, but it didn't quite get passed.
Well, that's what we want to discuss today.
Okay.
So, earlier in the session, you had proposed Senate Resolution 31. So what was kind of the idea behind this resolution?
Knowing people that OD'd in my district. One, an employee went home and found her son dead on the floor. She never got over that. And I don't think anybody will get over, leaving his son who is fine and going home and finding him dead on the floor on an overdose, fentanyl related. And then I had an employee, a cook, leave work, and 45 minutes after work, we saw him receive a bag as he went out the door to his car. And 45 minutes after he got off work, his father found him dead on the floor, fentanyl related. So then several people asked me, because of the number of deaths, 515 in Delaware just the last year, in overdose deaths, several people asked me, what are we doing about it? So I just wanted to do something. And everybody knows that the large amount of fentanyl is coming from our southern border. We're reading it, we're seeing it on the news, and evidently the other side of the aisle didn't want me mentioning the southern border, and we all know why they don't want the southern border mentioned. In 1 year's time, the drugs coming across the southern border, just in Texas, the increase was 1,066% in 1 year's time. And that was only what they seized. And there's a larger number that's not being stopped by customs than what is being stopped. So if that amount was seized, how much got through, without being seized?
Yeah, and so you discuss it, and specifically in the whereas clauses in the resolution, it noted a ton of figures and statistics to back up what you're saying about the amount of fentanyl and drugs that are coming from the southern border. Now, this legislation, this wasn't if it had passed, there's certainly nothing in it that
right.
We can't do anything legally, obviously. That's really what this was encouraging the federal government to take actions to prevent the amount of fentanyl and drugs coming across the southern border.
And I wanted to have the resolution read in full, but the figures are all wrong now. This was drafted a few months ago, and the figures are so much greater now than what they were in the warehouse clauses. So I didn't have it read in its entirety for that reason, but I tried to point out what the figures are today and the deaths we're having, the amount of really fentanyl that is coming across. 1 gram is enough to kill 500,000 people. There's 515 deaths in Delaware. If I had only had pictures of those 515, I'll guarantee you there was probably some from everybody's district in that chamber, and the other side of the aisle elected not to support it.
Well, and as you noted, I think everyone probably has a personal connection to this issue, whether it's a direct relative, they themselves, a family member, friends. Certainly, I know you employ a lot of people at your stores. But so what was the chief reason, in your opinion, that the Democrats opted not to support this resolution?
Because I mentioned the southern border, and if I hadn't mentioned the southern border and just the problem as a whole, they probably would have supported it. But the problem is the southern border. We all know that. That's where most of it's coming from now. That's where most of the seizures of these drugs are seized. And why not mention where the problem is coming from?
And I believe one of the senators even alluded to you possibly being a xenophobe.
I think that was a senator that was trying to cover up her reason for voting no. And I know that's going to be a big issue, because everybody that I know realizes that overdose in this country is becoming a huge problem and growing all the time.
Well, I'll certainly provide a link to the full resolution in the comment section or the description, depending on how you're viewing this, and just below this video. But moving on, just one last topic that I wanted to touch on. So we're now going to be entering the final week of the 151st General Assembly, the last week in June, heading up to June 30th. Do you have any predictions about how this is going to go?
Well, no, I think all the controversial things, or most of the controversial things, have been worked out now with the gun bills and the voting bills. I am predicting that the governor probably will sign our gun bills. They're going to go to court, and I can't, after the court ruling today, I can't see where they're going to become law in the state of Delaware. They are going to be challenged, and it's pretty obvious that some of those bills are totally unconstitutional, not only federally, but in our own state constitution.
Well, the state constitution is actually much more defined.
Right.
For recreation, hunting, everyone, you have that right to possess a firearm, to take part in recreational activities, hunting. As you're a big hunter yourself.
I've been hunting
Your
since
family
I was 9 years
right?
old, our whole family, our grandchildren. That's a concern I have about 451, raising the age to 21 to purchase a gun, and being able to hunt with some of the guns without an adult. When I was 16, I started hunting by myself. My boys started hunting by themselves when they're 16, and now my grandchildren are, and that's going to stop them from doing that, and that's a shame. Hunting is a great sport, and it's a one that I encourage my boys and my grandchildren to do. And another concern I have with 451 is you can get married at 18, but you can't have a gun in your house to protect you and your wife. That bill will probably come in front of us, and I hate to see that. I think the voting bills have already been voting on, but they're going to be challenged also.
Well, definitely, I know, like you said, past couple weeks were definitely pretty contentious. Maybe we'll have Senator Benini on here prior to the end of session so we can discuss some of his procedural moves that he made in making what was a pretty bad bill slightly better.
This is my 20th year here, and it's the most contentious session that I have put in, and it could have been a lot different.
Absolutely. Well, Senator Hocker, as always, pleasure sitting down and talking with you.
Okay.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
I appreciate you having me, and we need to get the word out what we are fighting for.
Absolutely. And also thank you for watching this videos and keeping up with us on social media. Be sure to follow us on social media, as I mentioned. Check out our website, DelawareSenate.com. Sign up for Senator Hocker's newsletter.
We send out a lot of newsletters. If you're not getting it, let us know. We'd like to get you on the list.
Absolutely. Links to that will be below as well. But until next time, again, thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you.